And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the CalVet Navigating the VA Disability Claims. We'd like to thank California State University San Bernardino for partnering with us, their Veteran Services Representative Department there. And we'd also like to thank the San Bernardino County Veteran Service Office for joining us today for this presentation. My name is Kirk Eller. I am a CalTAP training coordinator, and I will be navigating this slide presentation for you this afternoon. Sorry about that, my clicker's not working. So we'd like to start off with some housekeeping. If you've been familiar with the Zoom platform, if you could open up the Q&A tab on your toolbar. If you have questions throughout this webinar, we'd ask that you please place your questions in that Q&A tab. And then also my colleague, Michael Cisneros, will be posting some resources in the chat. So you can open up the chat function as well. He'll be putting our resource book, some other links that may be valuable to you, and also a PDF of this slide presentation. I would like to mention that this presentation is being recorded, and we will post this at a later date on our YouTube channel, and you can access it there on our YouTube channel. Following this presentation, we will be going through all of the questions in the Q&A tab and answering them with our guest speakers from the County Veteran Service Office. So please, if we don't answer your question in the Q&A tab directly right away, we will get to it at the end during the Q&A portion, okay? So thank you for joining us. And let's move forward. Again, my name is Kirk Eller, and I am a training coordinator here at CalVet in the CalTAP, or the California Transition Assistance Unit. And we provide resources and outreach for different benefits of what your California benefits are. I'd like to start off with going through what the CalTAP program is. CalTAP was designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras on their earned state and federal benefits, and then provide this continuum of care and support and assistance as needed as those needs change over time. How we do that is through our core curriculum, education, employment, and entrepreneurship pathway. There's also a fifth pathway for service providers for those that are looking to serve veterans in that capacity. We would like to mention that my colleague will be posting this resource in the chat, the California Veterans Resource Book. You can access it at our website, and he will also put a PDF or the link in the chat so that you can access this as well. There's a lot of valuable information in this book, so please do download this and use that resources for your well-being. So how can you use CalTAP online? If you go to the CalVet website, calvet.ca.gov, that's our homepage for California Department of Veteran Affairs. You can access all of these benefits on our homepage. And if you look, it's highlighted there at the CalTAP portion where the laptop is. That's how you get to the CalTAP portal. The CalTAP portal looks like this. And we're going to focus right now on the core curriculum pathway, which is going to highlight your California specific benefits. If you focus on Module 5, the California benefits will be listed there in a self-paced learning module. So what are your California benefits? In Chapter 1 of the book, they start off, it begins with your regional outreach and goes through the different counties and regions for outreach there, but your California benefits start on Chapter 1. This is a snapshot of all of your California specific benefits, and I'm going to go through these rather quickly so that we can spend a little bit more time on our keynote topic of the day, which is the VA disability claims. But I would like to highlight some of our popular ones like our college tuition fee waiver and the veteran designation on your driver's license and the motor vehicle fee waiver. Please note that some of these benefits do require a service-connected disability. If you have questions about what these benefits are and the eligibility for them, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask us. We'll be more than helpful to give you that further information. Or you can go to the California specific benefits on our Module 5 in the CalTAP portal, and you can learn about all of these benefits. You can also learn about the different divisions of our homes. We have the CalVet Home Loans Division, the Women's Division, and the Minority Division. And they provide advocacy and outreach for women and minorities specifically and their needs as veterans. And then we also have the CalVet Homes for Long-Term Care. There's 8 homes throughout the state of California, and they have each one of those skilled nursing facilities and care for our veterans, and the 3 veteran cemeteries throughout the state of California. Other common websites you should be knowledgeable with and familiar with, obviously, is the VA. The VA is going to a single location now for managing your care. It's going to be My VA. And this is what that new portal is going to look like. It's My VA, and you can access and manage your benefits through this portal. And this is in replacement of the e-benefits portal. Also, My Health eVet. This is a great tool for you to get in touch with your doctor, make appointments, messages, track your health records or your pharmacy needs electronically, all on one site. This is our continued support options. We would like you to add in a non-DoD email at CalTAP at calvet.ca.gov, which is the CalTAP email. And then also register for My Calvet on Calvet's homepage. And then you can add veteran services on our social media. If you look to the right, you'll see the QR code for our social media pages there. And then attend webinars like this. You can also fill out a survey, which we've provided a QR code and a link for this specific survey. We do encourage you to take the survey because we value that feedback so that we can do that continuous improvement for our webinars to provide the needed information that you, the veterans, are looking for. So this is how you would register for My Calvet on our homepage. To the right of the toolbar there, you just say register and create your account, and you can filter out what kind of benefits that you may be interested in receiving information about. But it also gives you an email designation sign up to receive the monthly newsletter from Calvet Veteran Services. You can see there our Deputy Secretary Keith Boylan, and he has a monthly message, and we'll have a topic of the month, and we'll have follow-on webinars to focus on the topic of the month. And you can register directly from that link of the newsletter through our Eventbrite page. This is my contact information and our 800 number. Please email me if you have any questions about these. I know I went through those benefits rather quickly, but we can access them on our website, or we would be more than happy to fill in that information for you personally in an email or a phone call at the 800 number that's listed there. Now I'm going to turn it over to our local interagency network coordinator, or LINK. Her name is Merlene Steinbeck, and she covers the Inland Empire region. Hi, Merlene. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kirk. So I just want to go over all of the things that the links do in the state of California. Next slide. A lot of people don't know that we have the links as a benefit. When I'm talking about the benefits, I want to tell you more about what links do and our role in the community and how we can help you. Next slide, please. So my name is Merlene Steinbeck. I am the local interagency network coordinator, or the LINK, for the Inland Empire and Yolomono counties. So as you can tell from the map, that's a really huge section. So I travel throughout my region. Also, sometimes I get called out to go to other parts of California for my coworkers if there's an LIC or a fire or emergency and I need to relieve another link. As you can tell from the map, Orange County, for example, is going to be completely different in the needs of our veterans as our area here in the Inland Empire. Our area is much bigger. It is geographically diverse. It has a lower income level compared to Orange County because there's less jobs and things are more spread out. And so as things are more spread out, transportation, for example, becomes more difficult. So as you can tell, different needs. We're going to have a lot of fixed income in my area, that kind of thing. But what we have here is a great opportunity to network with other types of veteran services, such as community partners, and talk directly to them in our local area. Next slide. So what I do is I provide outreach to service members, veterans, and their families. So I've been to March Air Reserve Base recently. I've been to 29 Palms at least once every week. I go to 29 Palms. Also, I go out to Fort Irwin. I travel all throughout my region and talk directly with the service members and their families. I work directly with established service providers, whether it be county, state, or federal officials. And I also assist with local emergencies. I also provide leadership and advocacy to local communities. So I've met with congressmen, their staff, Secretary McDonough I met with twice this year, that kind of thing. And I advocate for our veterans in my local area. Next slide. Here's an overview of some of the links, contacts. We have people that are contacts in every single EDD office, the American Job Centers throughout my region, through the County Veteran Service offices. I have direct contacts there. At CalVet, I have direct contacts, of course, because I work for CalVet and I am a direct contact. Also, I have contacts at VA medical centers and clinics and the vet centers, and every single point of location, I'm going to have a contact. Next slide. So this is my contact information. If you'd like to reach out to me or any other link, go ahead and ask me to forward to a different link if you're in a different region, or if you would like to speak with me directly, I normally have a contact to try to help you.
Thank you, Merlene.
No problem.
And please, if you have any questions, you can reach out to her. She's a great resource in the Inland Empire. Now I'm going to turn it over to our guest speaker, Misty Solvang, who is the Veteran Services Manager for the San Bernardino County Veteran Service Office. And she's going to give you some presentation on filing VA disability claims and the roles that their office does there in San Bernardino. Good morning. Thank you for joining us, Misty.
Hello. See if I pop in here. I think I got it all set up right. So I hope you guys are having a great day. As Kirk told you, my name is Misty Solvang, and I am a Veteran Service Officer, Supervising Veteran Service Officer for the County of San Bernardino Department of Veterans Affairs Office. This office is located in San Bernardino, but we have other offices in Rancho Cucamonga and Hesperia as well. So if you can switch the next slide, please. Okay, so what is the difference between, different agencies, right? So you've got your federal VA that handles all of the different branches, the different umbrellas in the VA. Then you have state veteran affairs benefits, which you're talking about the different like links and college fee waiver and some of the different items like that. And then you have county, who we assist veterans with filing their claims for all different kinds of benefits. Okay, so if we could do the next slide, please. Okay, so under the federal VA, there are three branches, three divisions under the umbrella of the federal VA. You've got your Veterans Health Administration, Veterans Benefits Administration, and National Cemetery. So the Health Administration obviously covers the VA medical centers, the outlying clinics, and so on. VA Benefits does, compensation, education, training like voc rehab, home loans, life insurance, stuff like that. National Cemeteries, obviously the burial benefits, headstones, presidential memorial certificates, and gravesite locator. Some of those benefits, however, though, we can still assist with here. As well as you got your CalTAP programs, college fee waiver, home loans, veteran home loans, state cemeteries, and approving agencies, veterans benefits enhancement programs, and housing and homeless prevention programs. So if you could do the next slide, please. So what do we do as county veteran service officers? Well, we provide information to veterans and their dependents, help them apply for benefits, which is a free service. We don't charge for that. We provide the assistance in that. So in 2020, county veteran service officers brought approximately 540 million new annualized federal benefits and 336 million in continued annualized benefits for the California veterans, which is huge, brings a lot of money back into the communities. Next slide, please. So different types of assistance, comprehensive benefits counseling, networking and advocacy with federal, state, and local agencies, DIC or dependency compensation benefits for survivors, burial benefits, claims and compensation benefits, pension, life insurance, records requests, discharge upgrades, college fee waiver, and veteran designations for their driver's license. So going back to the different comprehensive benefits, we have a full rounded education and training on all the different types of VA benefits. So if we don't have the answer to that, we certainly can guide you in the right direction. So if you could please do the next slide. So what is a service-connected disability? A service-connected disability is any injury that was incurred in or aggravated by active military service or while on active military service. We would need to show chronicity over time and or have some residuals due to an initial injury. Okay, so if you could please, next slide. What is required for a service-connected disability? Well, first of all, we would need to show that the injury or disability began while on active duty. So exposure, any kind of event that's going to put that together and link that all together. So have a current diagnosed condition. And if we're having problems bridging that gap, we can assist in helping guide you to get a nexus letter, which is going to bridge the gap and show the connection between military service and your current medical condition. So if you could please do the next slide, please. How do we do it? Next slide. Well, first of all, we talk about maybe potentially doing an intent to file. This gives us up to 12 months to assist you in helping gather other additional information to actually file your claim. We're going to look and see whether or not we're going to assist you in discovering whether or not it's actually in your service treatment records, if other medical opinions are needed, and go through all that and help guide you in that. If it's not in your service treatment records, we're going to have to talk about getting a current treatment, getting a nexus, getting a current diagnosis, medical opinions, and all that. And so all of our veteran service officers are well educated on what that looks like and how to assist you in getting that done. We here in San Bernardino don't do appointments. We do a walk-in basis, but you can walk in and see one of our veteran service officers. But since COVID, we actually implemented phone interviews, and we can actually sign claims and everything right over the phone, which has been amazing. It's outstanding. So you call in, you tell the receptionist answering the phone that I'd like to speak to a veteran service officer to discuss filing my claim, and we'll put you in a callback queue. Usually we can get back to you within the hour. The receptionist will let you know how long approximately that phone call return is going to be, but we call everybody back usually within an hour or two, and you will have your questions answered or your claim filed within that time period. We will guide you on what to expect once we have filed your claim. You'll more likely than not need to attend a comp and pension exam, and then the decision will come from the VA. Okay, next slide. Discharge upgrades. We here in our office do not assist with discharge upgrades, but we do have the discharge upgrade packets. We can kind of walk you through that as far as getting that handled and what it's going to take to get that done. There's also obviously the va.gov OGC legal services website there, but collecting, we can help you get documentation, military records, buddy statements, testaments of achievement, and so on, if you need assistance with that. And we can also guide you for legal assistance and recommend contacting the Swords of Plowshares at the number listed there. Okay, go ahead, next slide, please. So how do you find your VSO? Next slide. So you can look through on the CalVet booklet there, and you can look through your different county as to where you live, and they'll give you the phone number, the address of the main office there in any of those different counties and locations. Next slide, please. Also, you can go to the CalVet website, and there where it's highlighted in yellow, it says to find a service provider, and that will help connect you there. You would put in your zip code and the distance that you'd be willing to travel and what you're looking for, and you'll find our information in there as well. And also you can look at the Find a CVSO 1844 Serve Vet, and you can find a advocate or a county veteran service officer local to you through that link as well. Again, my name is Misty Solving. I'm the Veteran Services Manager for San Bernardino County Veteran Affairs Office in San Bernardino. We are located at the 222 West Hospitality Lane, 3rd floor in the Hall of Records building in San Bernardino. Phone number is 909-382-3290. You can always email us at inquiry@va.sbcounty.gov. If you're going to send an email, please do not send any claims through that email. And if you have questions, please allow us 24 to 48 hours to be able to respond, so that we can, depending on the weekend and so forth. So please be aware of that. I do see a couple of questions over here. 5 specific areas, with the last being a service provider.
I can answer that one, Misty. That one's
Okay,
for
great.
service provider pathway. Yes, good morning, and thank you for your question, and I'll go ahead and answer that one live. So he's asking about the first 5 specific areas in the being a service provider, and if you can become an accredited service claim agent. And our service provider pathway, if you go to the CalTAP portal, that pathway is going to provide you some insight and different areas where you can review how to become a service provider and receive training. I'm not sure about the actual accreditation through the VA. I think they may possibly have ways that you can become accredited, but I'm not that familiar with it. I can get back with you if you can put your contact information in there. I'll be more than happy to send me an email, and I will follow up and let you know exactly the accreditation services that are provided. Okay. I think
Do you want me to answer the next question?
Yes, sure, absolutely, Misty. Thank you for stepping in. So we'll go ahead and move this one.
So the question is, can a claim be from an incident that happened during a drill weekend at the California National Guard? The answer is yes. However, when it comes to National Guard and reserve time, it gets kind of tricky. So you have to have a line of duty incident report during your time while you are there. So if you think about it, you've got, your 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. And so 1 weekend a month constituting 2 or 3 days versus a full 25 to 28 days that you're not on duty. So you have to have that line of duty incident report, go in and get that taken care of so we can prove that that incident began while you're on your reserve time, because that will be required to file your claim when you're talking about reservist time. Okay. And
do they have to be on Title 10 or Title 32 service active duty to be eligible for that claim, or does it matter if they're just on their regular guard time?
I don't think it really matters, honestly, because, when they're still in reserves, they're still part of the military during that time. So in my experience, it doesn't really matter. It's just, we need to have that needs to be documented. It's super important. I can't stress that enough. Okay.
Thank you for clarifying that, Misty.
No problem. Can I'm going to answer the next question?
Sure.
Okay. Are there any advantages to filing for service-connected disabilities at the San Bernardino County office versus filing with the Veterans Organization? Well, yes, because we're actually #1 in the state. I'm pretty proud to be a part of this team. However, when you're filing with us, we have a lot of different avenues that we can help you through, and we are cross-accredited with many of the different service organizations. So it almost doesn't matter, if somebody comes in and they've got connection with DAV, for example. I hold accreditations with DAV, so I can still help them. I'm not stuck to one agency. So for example, if you are signed up or a member with DAV, and DAV is your service organization, and you want to come to somebody that you see at the VA Medical Center, that's American Legion, for example, the American Legion people aren't going to be able to help you because you're lined up with DAV. So then you're going to have a disconnect there. Here, we're cross-accredited with several different organizations. And that gives us a lot more flexibility nationwide to be able to help you. We have clients that are out of state. We have clients that are statewide, and we have a lot of clients that are out of the country as well. And because of those different cross accreditations, it gives us a lot more flexibility to help you across the board. So in my opinion, yes, you can always come in and see us. You can always sit down and talk to us, and we'll always be able to help you regardless of where your service organization stands.
Good answer. I like to say, because you guys are actually the service experts in filing claims, whereas the DAV may not be so, or the VSO, they're more multitasked organizations, where you guys are, that's what you do. That's your job, is to help file claims, do that. So plus, if there's an appeal, if there's a denial, you guys can help advocate on behalf of the veteran through that appeals process too.
Absolutely.
So that makes it very easy for them.
Absolutely.
Good answer. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
And somebody want to answer that next one there? No.
Can you see all conditions to be claimed with the VASRD CFR Chapter 38 book? I'm not familiar with what that.
Well, the WARMS link, that I believe is the CFR online. And I believe, if I'm understanding the question correctly,
Okay, yeah.
I have my CFR right here. And yes, we go through that. We talk about that. If someone needs to file an increase or add secondary conditions, we have that book to use as the federal law. We go through that to help link different things up and discuss what secondary conditions somebody can file for, and what it's going to take to get to the next higher rating. So yes, we actually do use that, if that was your question.
Okay. Thank you, Misty.
I think the question said, can you see all of the conditions? I'm thinking they're talking about claims, filing claims for every condition that's in there. That would make sense that you guys can.
Yes, we can. Can you file a claim for being discharged with an honorable discharge if you were discharged before the 4 years? The next question about filing a claim about your discharge, that might be something that would be medical, or I'm sorry, not medical, but a military records correction. That's something that we'd have to talk about and get more into the specifics, but I depends on also when that discharge took place. I'm going to assume it was, a little while back, because we don't usually see that in current days. So if you're looking to get that removed from your DD 214, it would be a records correction possibly, and we could talk about that.
Okay, thank you. This one's easy. Can you get your service medical records are missing after 10 years? You can request records through the National Archives yourself. Every person is available to do that individually. You just go to the National Archives website at www.archives.gov, and you can request your DD Form 214, your service records, and your medical records. And I will put that in the chat. Or Michael, can you? Yeah, go ahead, Marlene.
Sometimes, Kirk, the medical records have completely disappeared. They can't find them.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a little more challenging, and I think Misty can answer that a little bit if they're disappeared.
Yeah, there is if they're destroyed, for example, there was a fire at the National Archives in 1973, and there was a lot of records that were destroyed. But there are ways to reconstruct military records and forms that we can use to help pull that together. And it's a 13055 form to reconstruct military records. And then the National Archive can actually help to piece that together and research all of that. But there are avenues to get that stuff done. Okay, so the next one, when CalVet is approving a college fee waiver, do the students or applicants know that not all programs are eligible for this waiver? Is there checks and balances with CalVet office when it comes to approving a waiver? Who wants to answer that? Because I approve them here in this office.
I can touch on this one a little bit.
Okay.
The fee waiver does not cover certain certificated programs or non-semester, non-academic semesters classes, like say summer school. There may be some classes that are not eligible, and it's actually stipulated on our application. It's actually up to the Learning Institute to actually determine whether or not that fee is going to be applicable to be waived through their regular curriculum. If it's standard curriculum for an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree or a waiver during the standard semester school year, then it would be eligible for the fees to be waived. But if it's a specific program that's a non-state funded school, it would not be. It has to be a state funded school, a CSU or a community college or a university. And then, like I said, the only time that it's not going to cover that is if it's off semester, like in between classes of a fall or spring semester, or during the summer semester, or if it's a specific certificated program like an HVAC or something that's unique that needs, it's a technical or certificated program. Those are what would be non-eligible for the fee waiver, but it is based on the Learning Institute's decision.
Okay. The next one, what is the percentage rate of the disability to obtain Chapter 35 benefits? Yes, so the veteran of the dependent would need to be 100% service connected, and it would need to be a permanent rating and that person would need to be part of their award letter. It would state that there's Chapter 35 benefits eligibility. Once that's done, once it's declared to be a permanent and total disability and they're fully rated at 100%, then the dependents could opt to utilize the Chapter 35 benefits, and they would be able to apply right through calvet.gov for Chapter 35 benefits. The one thing that I think is really important to point out, and it's been my experience with people that I've served here, is that when you're going to a college and you go to the Veterans Assistance Program, they'll always get you to apply for the Chapter 35 because they don't always understand the difference between college fee waiver and Chapter 35 benefits and what constitutes your eligibility for that. So if the parent is not 100% service connected, you don't qualify for Chapter 35 benefits. You'd only qualify then for the college fee waiver benefits, providing that you meet the income requirements.
Okay. And I think the next one is the dates when this veteran was in service that he was referring to as discharge from 85 to 94 for his records. So I don't think he would have been affected by the fire in the records. So.
Well, is this for the don't ask, don't tell question?
I think so. And that guy, I messaged him and gave him the answer to that would probably be like a military records correction or part of the upgrade process, because I don't think, because they didn't acknowledge that at that time, but it is acknowledged now. It might be something that they can get their DD 214 changed.
And I think Swords to Plowshares is an exceptional organization that can assist with that kind of request. They have a lot of requests for discharge upgrades and those types of service record corrections. So reach out to Swords to Plowshares. I think there was
and I think the Veterans Legal Institute is also a great
VLI specific to Orange and LA County. So, but I think they might reach out to the Inland Empire. VLI might assist out that far.
We have VLI. We have a contract with VLI here as well. And VLI might be a good avenue. But I am interested in this other resource. I have not heard of that one before, so I'm going to get that information too and reach out to them and see what they're doing to be able to assist our people here.
So Jacob says that his dad's records were destroyed in the fire and wants to get his copy from the DD 214 from Vietnam. This makes me a little interested in this question because the fire was on July 12th of 1973. So I'd like to know what dates his dad's was discharged. So that we could go more into this. I think this is something more, maybe Misty could sit down or somebody in your office could sit down.
Yeah, Jacob, go ahead and reach out to our office. I put our office contact information in there. And also to the avenue would, decide like if your dad is still living or if he's passed away, and some different things there. Also, it might just be something that we need to evaluate a whole bunch of different things for that situation. So please reach out to our office and we'll be able to help you for sure.
I know that they've narrowed it down to the amount of records that were destroyed. I know they've got a pretty significant chunk reduced down to just a specific group of veterans that it's affected by the fire. So they know. And then I think they have those forms what form did you say it was that they can provide that for resources for,
Yeah, it's a 13055. And I know that they've narrowed it down to Army and I believe Navy veterans that were mostly affected from that time period and where the fire was located and so forth. And it's kind of interesting when we go back and we get records that were involved in the fire, and you'll see like corners kind of burnt and stuff like that when it comes through. So but sometimes we can get them.
Okay.
On the record, my dad's records were destroyed in that fire too, so I get it.
I have also seen where they said that the records were destroyed in the fire and they weren't. So I've seen this before as well. So that's why I say it's always best just to sit down. If they don't fit in the area that is described as being burnt, then there's something fishy. So we need to look a little more. At that. But sometimes it's a generic letter that's sent out or whatever. So next question is very interesting. And I'll let Misty defer.
Okay, I'm the second online myself. Is it possible to work with your county to add a VSO on my behalf now? Yeah, well, first and foremost, I don't know what the Sacramento County process is like right now, but you're certainly welcome to reach out to us. We can still help you, even though you're from a different county, and be able to assist you in that process. So feel free to give us a call and let's see what we can do and see where you're at and go from there.
Thank you. Okay, what can be done when VA claim does not acknowledge
the line of duty?
Wow,
the LODs. Well, that's going to be claim specific, and I would really encourage you to contact our office so that we can assist you with that and see what that line of duty injury incident report looks like, and go from there and see what your service medical records say, and go from there, because that might be something a little tricky that we may have to delve into specifically.
Okay. This one for the fee waiver for a PhD at CSUSB in education. For the eligibility for the fee waiver, depending on the age of the person that's using it, it can be used for any degree level, whether it's a graduate degree or a bachelor's degree or a doctorate. Under Plan B, the student would have to meet the earnings threshold limit, which is put in by the federal poverty limit line, which is roughly around $14,000 a year, approximately. It changes every year. But that would be the earning limit for the Plan B. Plan A has an age limit up to age 26 and requires the veteran of that student to be 100% service connected. Plan B requires the veteran to be 0 to 100%. And then, like I said, there's an earning threshold for the student on income. So that would be the criteria for eligibility. But yes, if you meet those eligibility requirements for Plan B, you can use your tuition waiver for a PhD. It is possible. You just have to meet the eligibility requirements.
All right, so question, can you get 100% under IU without being combined rated 100% and request permanent and total to obtain chapter 35 for the children without being a combined rated 100%? So to meet the criteria to file for individual unemployability, you have to have a combined rating of 70% or higher, with one rating alone at 40% or higher, and be unemployable due to that rating, okay? Or have an overall combined rating of 100% to get chapter 35. I have seen where someone is getting, say 70 or 80% plus IU, individual unemployability, and not be granted chapter 35 because the VA may feel that that situation may improve. And so they will do, sometimes every year, every couple of years, they'll do a medical evaluation to see if that condition for whatever is putting the person under unemployability has improved. We have filed claims in the past to make someone permanently and totally disabled and grant the chapter 35 benefits. It's all going to be based on the fact of what that person is service connected for, and what are they looking at as not being a possible permanent rating. So there are avenues to approach that, and that's the kind of things here that we're really good at doing. So I would just encourage the person to come in and see what we can do to get that. And under the same person, under Jacob, if your dad's DD-214 was burnt in the fire and mom lost the DD-214, you would still need to follow through with requesting those records through the National Archives. That we could help you file that here, and or see if we have access and see if we can get it for you. So there's little things that we can do here that you're not going to find other places. So again, I would just encourage you to come in and see what we can do. And what branch of service was your dad in? I didn't see that on here.
I don't think he had the branch service.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But regardless, we might be able, and since he was Agent Orange related, I'm assuming then he filed a claim at some point. And with that being said, then VA may still have his records in the VA system. Mm-hmm. So we may still be able to get a hold of that for you.
And the last one here. So Mr. Hernandez, you can reach out to their office if you have any more questions about accessing the DD-214. Request for a complete VBA file from June '96 was denied, even though I hand carried it from the regional office.
You went to the regional office, satellite office?
Satellite, yes, looks like satellite office.
What kind of satellite office, if you can share where you went? Did you go to, I don't know. And if you're asking for a complete VBA file, the VBA file, you should have been able to get that. And how long ago did you ask that? Because a lot of times now they'll send it to you on a disc. So that might be something we just need to reapproach. And Victor asks, does the PACT Act provide any presumptions for service at other Superfund sites such as Travis? I don't know what a Superfund site is, but
well,
yeah, we file PACT Act claims all the time. So
Superfund sites are federal Department of Defense locations that have contaminants known by the federal government, and they're cleaned up from the federal government, so they cannot do any permanent or local work or improvements until that site has been remediated, whether it's water
Oh.
remediation
Oh,
or
okay.
reclamation has been completed. So they're
Oh, okay.
provided funding by the federal government until that cleanup is completed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, we've been filing claims for PACT Act since it all became part of a thing since August 10th. So yeah, we can still file for that. And that next one is a great question.
Yeah. The calvet fee waiver, you would have to have your dependent would be eligible if you're a reservist and you have a service-connected disability rating from 0 to 100%. So your dependents would be the ones that are eligible for the fee waiver. The reservists themselves would not be eligible unless you as a reservist had a parent that was a veteran that had a service-connected disability rating and from 0 to 100, and then you as the dependent from that veteran could be eligible to use the fee waiver.
Oh.
Hopefully that answered the question. I know it's kind of, yeah, some people are a history of service and their parents were service and they forget that, you know, even as a service member or a reservist, their parents had a service-connected disability rating and they could be eligible for benefits just as a dependent. So keep that in mind as well.
All right, and James is asking if I would clarify my response on the FOIA request. I would just suggest that you contact our office and talk to a veteran service officer and let us make a request for FOIA and ask for specific bits of information and talk to the veteran service officer and explain to them why they declined to honor your FOIA request, because I've personally not seen that myself. So I'm kind of interested to figure out why they are declining that information. So please reach out to our office, and my information, my phone number here is on the screen that you're looking at right now. Sharon, the same thing. Who can I contact to see if my dad is eligible for Chapter 35? Still contact our office, and we'll have to look at it. I would just encourage your dad to contact our office, because we're not going to be able to tell you anything unless you have a third party or we have a third party release on file to be able to talk to you about what your dad is receiving, rated, what his eligibilities are, and so on. So that's confidential. So I would encourage you to have dad call in, or you guys could call in together and he can give us permission to talk to you, and we can discuss the benefits that he may be entitled to at that point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that looks like all the questions. Thank you, Misty, for your diligence in answering them. We appreciate your participation in this presentation. Everybody's contact information, and we have one more popped up here. If a student is a dependent of a veteran, but don't talk to them anymore, how can they obtain the signature for Calvet? I mean, I think we deal with this sometimes occasionally, depending on the relationship between the veteran and the dependent. If the dependent is trying to earn the Calvet fee waiver and the veteran is not willing to provide the information for their eligibility, it's going to be difficult for the dependent to use that benefit. So they would need the signature of the veteran. He would have to provide a DD 214 and his service award letter to prove his eligibility for the dependent to be earning that fee waiver in the first place. And then as the dependent, you would have to provide your relationship, whether it's a birth certificate, and then if it's Plan B, you'd have to provide that earning income verification form to the county office. So there's some documents there that are going to be required, and there has to be some communication between the veteran and the dependent to get those documents together to supply those to the county office so that they can process that application. And if there is no communication, I mean, that's kind of a personal thing between the dependent and veteran. So I would encourage you guys to kind of work through those issues personally before trying to apply those. Is there any wiggle room for the IRS non-filing letter? Yes, there is. However, I know that the fee income level threshold is pretty adamant based on federal poverty limit, based on your location and your zip code where you live. And then Nancy Noriega, who is our fee waiver person who does all the evaluations and the denial letters. You can actually appeal through the Calvet fee waiver website. You can send an email if you appeal that, if you're over. She'll review the appeal and go through a case-by-case basis, depending on the hardship or something that you file. If you're having a problem getting a non-filing letter, I believe you can go to the Franchise Tax Board here in California, and they will provide you, if there's no earnings for that previous year or a non-filer, they will provide you a letter if there was no earnings, just as a no earning limit. So you can use the Franchise Tax Board or the IRS, and you can, I believe you can request those all online through their websites. So hopefully that answers your question. Online process for the non-filing. Yeah, you go to the Franchise Tax Board's website and request their documents from them. Same with the IRS. Everything's done digitally now. So, all right, I think that's the questions, and we're going to, you're welcome. Thank you all for your questions. We appreciate the time for our guest speakers here to provide the answers. If your answers did not meet your expectations or whatever, that's what these questions and contact information is for. Reach out to one of us, reach out to the county office if you have questions with those details or your records. Specifically, they can help you. Merlene, also, thank you for jumping on and providing your resources and what you do. And then Michael, thank you for putting the chat functions and the resources in there as well. Again, my name is Kirk Eller, and I want to thank you all for joining us. We do have some upcoming webinars. We're going to be following up with this again tomorrow for San Bernardino, CSU San Bernardino. Same website on claims, how to file a disability claim through the county office tomorrow. And then we also have some for Chaffee College on employment, Department of Rehabilitation on October 6th. And then I believe we changed the date for the presumptive conditions to the 20th of October. So please excuse me for the wrong date on that presumptive conditions. Again, here's our survey link. We would like to encourage you to take the time to fill out that survey because we value your feedback. We continually improve our webinars, and we want to provide the best resources and material that's relevant to what your needs are. So please take that time. You can use the QR code to go there, or you can go to that www.surveymonkey link and fill that survey out. It only takes a couple minutes. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. This is our phone number, and please note that we do, we do value that you call us, and we pride ourselves for live persons to answer this 800 number. So if you do not get a hold of a person live, please leave a message, and somebody from Calvet Services will get back with you with your question, okay? All right, everyone, thank you for joining us, and we will sign off a little bit early, and we hope to see you again on one of our webinars very soon. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your service. Goodbye.